Oh, this is the way down. Okay, let's leave that alone. I don't know. I don't like talking about money that much, especially as a YouTuber, because there's always that, like, bad reaction where people are just like, YouTubing's not a real job. Get a real job. I always get really annoyed.
Oh. Scary.
Oh, it's a boss. She really seems like a sadist. Oh, she's something. In a way, she's denying his existence. I certainly wouldn't want to be the victim of that. Let's go talk to her. I didn't realize we'd have a boss here. Well, let's see if I can solo this. I mean, worst comes to worst, we reload or something. It's as real as being an actor. Yeah, that's generally my stance, but not everybody agrees with that. So, you're the pigs who wrote that calling card online. Huh. Why do I deserve this, It's because you made some guy your slave. That's all kinds of wrong right there. That's what he wants. He worships me more than any god, you know. I don't know where to begin to explain how you're wrong. I beat him and I hurt him, and he sees it as a sign of our love and friendship. He's so happy. You are delusional. I'm pretty, and my grades are good. It's my right to order people around. I'll start by giving orders to you pigs. Lick my shoes, peasants. One of these. 1 million is nothing in this game. For right now, it's a lot. I'll never give up Moto. He belongs to me. Being my slave is what makes him happy. Alright, can we confuse him, or are we in trouble here? Well, we got resist, so I don't think I'd have much to worry about. Come on. One way or another, we can solo this boss.
Let's go.
Let's give it a couple more. It looks like she's immune to it. Or, well, she might just die in this process.
Joker's down. Come on, you gotta hold on. All right, time for a counterattack.
Yeah, it looks like she's not a...
Let's go. All right.
She's not confusable. Missing this many times in a row? Absolutely not. Door to Hades! Oh, this is easy. Kaguya DLC is amazing. Dude, all of the DLC personas are ridiculous. I wonder if I should actually go back and make an Arsene and just, like, forcibly level him up, see if he gets any cool abilities. I bet he would, actually. Oh, Recarm. Ooh, handy. Okay, Dia, Patra, Medea, Diorama. Let's get rid of Dia, I guess. We don't need it that bad at this point. Okay. No, 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 no. I don't want to lose him. He's mine. He's mine, isn't he? Keep this up and he'll hate you. I could never stand that. Then why did you start treating him like that? He just kept going along with it, so I misunderstood and thought I could do anything I wanted. Actually, I wanted to be more than friends with him. More than friends? You mean like as a boyfriend? Yes, I had a crush on him, but then I got possessive. Those feelings went out of control.
Yeah.
Be careful that you don't make things worse for yourself than they already are. Ah! The treasure has shown itself. Whip sword. Okay, so we wanna... That's something for on. I think it's better. Oh yeah, that's better. Did I get anything better? There's the Black Kagata, but I can't do anything with that. Okay, later. Can I get this open? Yes, awesome. Whoa, we did it! This is because more people believe in us now, right? That has to be it. Now then, let's get in there. Doesn't this look different from how it was before? Looks like it'll be a new area from here on. I'm starting to understand how this place works. Yes, it's quite a marvel to find the subway system down here. Earth to Yusuke, it's always been like that. Let's see. And we should probably re-equip the party. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. I don't generally get a whole lot of like oh, I don't think I have one of these guys. Do I? No, I've definitely recruited these guys in the past. I haven't had a whole lot of people ever like go after me for the like YouTubing's not a real job. I guess I've had like people on the internet have been unkind about like YouTubing and streaming being a real job. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna add this guy to my party. We'll have to get rid of one of the shitty guys that we already have, but like, who cares? Let's get rid of Incubus. Or Jack-o'-lantern. Let's get rid of Jack-o'-lantern. Level 2 at this point.
Let's continue. Nice work, team.
Okay.
But, like, for a period of time, I mean, even still kind of now, my in-laws, I guess they've been better about it since we moved out. But for a period of time, my in-laws were very specifically, like, anti-YouTubing. Yeah, well, close enough. We're not married yet, but in-laws enough. Future in-laws. There we go. I guess that counts. I don't know.
A decisive victory.
Let's see. There was. Oh, it was oh, it's just one of these guys. This is just the usual one, right? Yeah. Emperor. I thought it was gonna be something else. But my in-laws weren't cool with it for the longest time when we're like constantly bugging me about, you know, getting work somewhere or something like that. And bugging Shell about potentially finding somebody else that had like better future prospects and stuff like that. And it's just like I'm actually doing fairly well. It's just new and nobody understands it, so it's unknown and therefore not worth thinking about. Yeah, we were also long distance and like I was living with my parents, so there's like some amount of like grounding for it, but also most of the reason why I was long distance at that point was just because rent is expensive. I don't know how many of you guys live on your own at this point, but like boy, it is not exactly a cheap thing. Especially when you're like just getting on your feet. But no, most of the time when I have people being really snitty at me about about my profession, it's usually when it comes to people on the internet talking about like jobs and careers and stuff like that. Okay, the last floor had 7 areas, but the one before only had 2, right? I suppose it varies depending on the location. Guess that means it ain't easy to tell how much of a floor we've got left to cover, huh? That's right. We won't know how many areas are on a floor until we make it to the end, but judging by the vibe I'm getting from the shadows, this floor isn't any smaller than the last. Okay, I was having, I guess, an argument. I don't know, every once in a while I, like, see a thread on Reddit, specifically. And it'll be people, like, discussing, career prospects. Like, somebody was talking about trying to dissuade their younger sibling from becoming a professional YouTuber, saying that, like, you know, oh, they only have, like, you know, a small following of like 10,000 subscribers and like they should go to college and stuff like that. And I'm like, actually, like, that might not be a bad idea. They can always put off college for a while and focus on that, because like I effectively truly gave up on my job hunting when I hit 10,000, because it's like, wait a second, I could actually like make something of this, and I did. And like I tried to chime in being like, it's not unreasonable to go into like YouTube, and a bunch of other people were like, no, you're never gonna make it on YouTube, it's such a dead-end thing, like why would anybody consider that being a career? And I'm like, people that like are kind of open-minded and creative, I guess, not you. And then I got downvoted to hell, and I'm like, okay, just gonna back off of this one. I also had a couple other people that would, like, leave really snitty messages about how, like, low my views are. Bitch, I get, like, a quarter of the views that Ciananders gets. I think I'm okay. That was a surprise to me, actually. I don't like doing this, but, you know, whenever I'm feeling kind of low about YouTube, I try and look at, like, the other people around me. And the people that I, like, I look up to, if that makes sense. And I'm like, you know, how are they doing? I can sense their target somewhere in this area. Let's scour the floor for them. Honestly, kind of wanted to... Well, we could try it. The boss shouldn't be that much harder. These guys are only level 10, or whatever. Should probably heal the main character first. Let's keep going first. There's got to be a safe zone soon, because we've done a lot. Wait, so you can get 250 views per vid? Okay, so I don't actually get as many views per video as Ciananders. I don't even get a quarter of Ciananders' views per videos. But overall, I get a quarter of his monthly total. I guess to mention, to put that in like a proper perspective. But yeah, I'll actually look at people that I used to watch a lot and be like, oh, I'm actually not doing so bad.
Okay. Let's hurry.
And it's I don't know. It's not a good thing to do to, like, constantly compare yourself to your peers. But sometimes it's kind of a good way to be like, oh, I'm not actually, like, doing that bad, all things considered. I mean, I think YouTube's also been hard on a lot of other, like, content creators, which I always kind of feel bad about. Some YouTubers that I, like, used to follow and, like, really look up to have definitely been hit hard by YouTube, way harder than I would have expected. And I'm not going to name any names at this point, but, like, people that used to be, like, super bigwigs only get, like, you know, 600,000 views a month, which at this point is really not great. Generally, it kind of depends on the season, but to estimate YouTube ad revenue, it's anywhere from $1 to $8 per 1,000 views. So if you see a YouTuber that's getting, you know, 600,000 views a month, that's generally anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, give or take. Which isn't bad, don't get me wrong. But that can be a little bit hard to pay, like, rent and bills on, especially if they're, you know, consistently either keeping level at that or going lower. A lot of people, I will note, do actually have, like streaming partnerships and stuff like that that they can go. There's Patreon, there's GameWisp, there's donations and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
That enemy was really weak.
But, like, every once in a while I'll see, like, purist YouTubers that are just not getting much for views at all, and I'm just like, oh, how are you surviving on this? And actually, a lot of them kind of aren't. I knew one guy who we started at about the same time, and he skyrocketed. He was getting, you know, 3 million views a month. Still in the, like, the tens of thousands, and he made it up to 100K in, like, 2 months or something insane like that. And he was, like, super proud of himself and, like, kind of giving advice and talking about how good, you know, how good his strategy was. And I was talking to him the other day, like, I guess the other day, like a week or two ago, and he was actually contemplating starting his channel over because his views had dropped so hard that...
Oh, no! I think I forgot to record my drama! Now I can't relax.
Yeah.
Yo, someone will be streaming it sooner or later.
Yeah, so we'll go down to the waiting room and then go up to the top. I think that's how it'll work.
There's a shadow. Be careful.
But yeah, he was talking about having to potentially start over his channel to maybe try and counteract the fact that his, like, audience had dried up. And in a lot of cases, it's not even the algorithm changing. It's usually just like I'm gonna say like how fickle audiences are, but like usually when you see a YouTuber rise and fall really fast,
Okay.
was that just a shot at streamers?
Let's go.
Shouldn't have been. Streamers are fine. But when you see a YouTuber rise and fall really fast, it's usually because they got really, really popular with one specific game, and then haven't managed to carry that over into anything else. I've known quite a lot of guys who got like, you know, tens to hundreds of thousands of views for like one series, and they can't find anything else that would bring their audience over. Oh, is that a shot at streamers in-game? Oh, maybe? I don't know. Hey, this place is like a waiting room. Maybe we can chill out here a bit. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do a couple of things. So one, we want to save, but we don't want to consult.
I should write something.
I guess we could save. Let's save. Okay, so let's go back to Memento's overview. Oh, that's nice that I can switch it around. I like this. Okay, so we want to go to the Velvet Room for a moment. I want to see if I can make anything new. Didn't I already pass the goal? Yeah, I was looking for a save point because I hadn't seen one in quite some time. I don't want to... Since I'm fighting these mini-bosses alone to make crazy money, I don't want to potentially, like, die and have to reload and redo everything. Not that that's, like, really that big of a deal, but it would suck. Okay, register. So we want to register Thanatos. He'll level up in a year.
Are you sure?
Yipon Datara. Nope.
Are you sure?
Okay, there we go.
Read here.
I wonder what persona is my favorite. Thanatos right now, but that's just because he's a boss. Or a beast, or both.
Done already.
Okay. Not done? What I don't know. What am I doing?
You certainly.
Time.
Okay.
Execute 'em. What
Fusion,
kind do you want?
fused by result. Do I have anything new that I can make? Can I make?
I see.
Alright.
A strong
I think I can make her.
indeed.
I thought she was like a DLC one. Yeah, I guess I can make her.
You
Can't make
handle
Lilum
this.
though.
Looks pretty tough.
Fortune. Oh, do we not? I don't think we have Fortune yet.
Select the skills you'd like to inherit.
Okay, so this will use up both of these. Well, that's fine. Persona born with one who held a fate outside that of your tale of rebellion. However, that persona still bears the power of its original owner. It shall be of great help to you.
Choose the inherited skills, inmate.
That's interesting. Is there no fortune persona in this game? Is that how this works? Or is Ariden the... No, there is a fortune. Wait. Oh, it's saying this is a DLC one that we've stumbled across as far as making goes. Well, that's fine. Okay, so we want to get Divine Grace. High counter would be good, but let's make sure we get the other more important things first.
Its power will be nothing on you. Girls, let us begin.
But yeah, she's pretty good, which is why we're gonna grab her. I like the design too. Okay, and I assume we still do not have anybody new to make. Well, that's fine. Okay, so we want to go strengthen persona. Who do we want to strengthen? I don't know. Might as well strengthen her.
Do not expect
That's
your
not
power
gonna
to miss.
do much of anything now.
Is that enough?
Oh, it'll get him some bonus. All right,
This is
sure.
the power. Let these powers unite.
I'm just gonna burn through some of these guys. Oh, she's from Persona Arena. I see. I really wish I could skip this. Life drain. Oh. Eh. I forgot using the gallows. It's kind of silly sometimes.
Is that enough?
Bonus
This
EXP.
is what it. This may be a bit gruesome.
I mostly want to just clear out my Persona inventory a little bit. Seeing as we're getting random free ones, we might as well hold on to them. Okay, resist dizzy. Not really that useful. I guess I'll strengthen her with the Kadama. Not that it really helps,
Unite.
but it's not terrible either. I'm, like I said, trying to clear it out, and since it doesn't actually cost me money, hey, why not? And we get Rakunda. Attack Master. Now that sounds like an interesting ability. I'll have to take a look at it.
It is time, inmate.
Okay, so now we want to do... Oh, okay. Well, let's just overwrite this one. Okay, so empty my wallet. Start part way in. So if we just start here... Oh, you can only start... Oh, I see. Start at the end of the previous one. Okay, that's easy enough. Yeah, so we just go down from here, and it's on level 3. Now, honestly, I think I'm just gonna... Well, I guess we could pick up the items. I guess we'll just sprint through. It's not like running through these mementos is particularly time-consuming. Okay, there we go. And he wants to join me. Give me the goods. We get a sledgehammer skill. Okay, I'll take that.
Don't forget this feeling.
Do they ever wonder where you go to use the Velvet Room? Yeah, I've always wondered about that. Is there any reference to anybody else realizing that you go to the Velvet Room in these games? Because I've always been really confused about that. Plant Balm, Whole Silver. Yeah, we want to run through these just because this is another way how we can get a ton of... This is how we can get a ton of money. Okay, so... Okay. According to people, you just stood there for a while at the beginning. Okay.
Okay.
Battle's over.
Is there...
Okay, let's get going.
Is there ever a point where, like,
Treasure chest.
an NPC... Well, not an NPC. One of the support characters gets brought into the Velvet Room? Because that'd be interesting. I mean, apart from the ones that are already there.
Hold the wheel steady, Joker.
Okay, so there's the way down. Is it just me, or is this level larger than the other ones? Persona Q, I guess. Does Persona Q even count? I thought that was kind of like a weird, like, bonus Persona game.
All according to plan.
Nice work, team.
Okay.
Persona 3 is the only one where others are brought in. Yeah, because I don't think it ever happened in Persona 4. Here, we've got a side room here.
We're hanging in here for so long.
Dead end.
I feel like those.
There we go. Probably don't need to fight these guys now that I'm thinking about it, especially just Hua Po.
Continue. Yeah, victory.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Persona Q is Persona 3 and 4 getting mixed into one game. Yeah, but if I remember right, the plot is kind of like, isn't it goofy? I don't know, with weird crossover games, usually the assumption is that the plot is kind of extra non-canon.
I think today was the sale day at the supermarket near me. Your
Just that tight? Focus on the job.
Like, what's a good example? I remember. Oh yeah, no, they're talking separate. Okay, so I believe this is no. We've got one more area. Honestly, I think I'm just going to avoid fighting these guys. If they're in my way, I'll fight them. I don't think a single one's actually noticed me here. Okay, so there is something about the Velvet Room in this one. Okay, good to know. We should probably also heal at some point. We'll do that in a bit.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, plant bomb. Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore most enemies unless there's loot waiting for me. Because I don't think we need the EXP, especially not from these weak enemies. Because I would like to move on. Mainly, I want to be able to record that Warframe thing. But I want to see if we can get the money.
Smells like coffee, huh?
I want to see if we can get the crazy money exploit going one last time before we leave this dungeon.
Sucks. All this darkness makes it so gloomy.
Don't complain so much. You're just making.
Nothing? Well, that was funny. I was not expecting that to be like a wild goose chase. Alright, we want to go this way. Do they get blinders like at a higher level? Like, does the level disparity...
There are too many drinks. I can't tell what's new or old anymore.
I don't know if the level disparity actually makes a difference on like whether or not I get spotted. That'd be cool. But I doubt it. Okay, so now we know we're here. We've saved recently. We're not... If we do lose, we don't lose much. And honestly, if we do lose, then I just go do it myself off camera. And nobody really probably cares that much. There we are. Okay, so first and foremost, skill. Makoto. Diorama on everybody. She's got plenty. Stats. No one left in the party. Good luck, me! Let's go in. Hopefully we can get this. Do I know who made the persona? Nope. And that's a spoiler I probably don't want to know.
Okay.
There it is. That should be the shadow of the man named Uchimura. Doesn't he look like he's worried about something? But he's abusing his girlfriend, right? Oh man, didn't her fortune say that she's gonna get seriously hurt? We can't let that come true. Let's hurry.
This is horrible.
Damn it. I gambled away all my money again. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Where is she? Get over here so I can beat you. And I'm sorry for your girlfriend. What? Don't you dare lecture me. She's mine. I can do whatever I want with her. Beating her is a right that only I have. I'll let you know that she loves it too. If you want to get in my way, then you're gonna die. Wow, this guy's kind of irredeemable. I'ma punch you too.
Let's go.
Please work. Yeah! I mean, it's not great money, but here we go. Watch him just stay confused forever. That'd be beautiful. Okay. Well, at least we've got this, set up. Watch him just, like, actually immediately stop throwing money at me. That'd be unfortunate. How much money have I acquired so far? A little over $1 million. Yeah, this guy would actually hurt more if I wasn't resistant to physical. But yeah, we are loaded, and we will only get more loaded. I will probably try and set up maybe Messiah for this. Honestly, I'm fine with Thanatos Picaro. Wait, you gain the stuff he throws away? Yep. So, while he's confused, he just chucks goodies at me. And we just end up being this, like, rich sucker, which is beautiful. Eventually, I think you can get, like, 200k per drop, but that'll have to be on one of the later mini-bosses. And that works for me. I'll see if I can get a character with a higher luck, but honestly, like, who cares? I can't imagine we're gonna need more than a couple million yen to play through the entire game. And honestly, we're gonna get more mementos to go into later, too. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to heal at some point, but this guy is hardly a problem. Honestly, we could actually just start using some of the healing items he's throwing at me. Uh-oh. We're just items now, I think. That's crazy short. Nope. He's still giving money. I think his drop rate is just kind of maybe a bit more randomized. And my grandfather had a gambling problem. It was awful. My grandmother, after my grandfather died, actually traveled the country looking for banks around casinos, trying to see if he had any like money hidden away in any of the different locations around the U.S. So whenever she'd visit,
Guess we gotta try everything.
whenever she'd visit some of us, you know, my family, my aunts in Nevada, stuff like that, she would specifically ask, like, well, she'd stop by, oops, that's not the one. She'd stop by a bank and be like, you know, here's my information. Did this man have a bank account with you? And I don't think she actually found much of anything, but he was a trucker, so it was pretty easy for him to have opened a bank account that she would have never even known about. It's sad for my grandmother. Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, they never really had a whole lot of money to begin with, so it really didn't matter that much. Sort of? Well, it probably would have mattered. Yeah, that's why they didn't have that much money. Well, it didn't help that the man didn't ever work, like, actual jobs. My grandfather kind of messed up my family in a lot of ways, at least on my dad's side. He kind of taught all of my uncles that working for somebody else is a bad thing, and that you know, you should only be self-employed, and you know, education wasn't that important. Come work for the family business, crushing rocks and stuff like that. And so of all of my uncles, only half of, maybe only my dad and one of my uncles graduated high school. And of my entire extended family on my dad's side, only my dad of his generation went to college, much less graduated. And then, like, if you go down a generation, to mine, my cousin, it took about 5 cousins to get one that would graduate, would graduate high school and then college. And she went on to be a doctor. She is probably going to be the most successful of all of my generation in my dad's side of the family. Maybe my brother might outstrip her. I mean, if I somehow become crazy internet superstar, maybe I'll quote unquote surpass her. But she literally runs, she's like the Surgeon General of at least one African country, which is crazy. Like, the problem is you can't, like, put success on that. And she does it as like a voluntary thing every summer. Which, I mean, to be fair, I'm fairly certain this has changed, but prior to her even like showing up in this country, they didn't even have like medical programs to begin with. She rules an African country. That would be more impressive, but no, this is like this is one of those like fairly destitute African, like remote African countries that didn't have much of anything. And so she like sat down and she, I mean, she showed up and pretty much revitalized their medical program, from at least what I've heard and whatever. She's just really impressive, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think anybody from my generation will be more successful than that, unless my brother like makes something crazy. I don't think you can have a successful business without at least a high school education and an innovative idea. You don't need a high school education to run a successful business, sort of. I mean, like Egoraptor, for example, started the Game Grumps, and he very clearly has talked about only getting a GAD, which I guess counts as a high school education. Okay, so he is still throwing money at me. But, I don't know. Personally, it's probably more hard work and good timing than anything else for a lot of those, but an education always absolutely helps. Yeah, so this guy is still giving money occasionally, just slowly. But yeah, personally, I think everybody should at least get a high school education and probably a college education. I just kind of wish college educations were more accessible. I think my overall, like, cost for my education was, like, $100,000, which I guess isn't as bad as, like, some. My brother's was, like, twice that, if not more. But it's... I don't know. I think stuff like healthcare and education should probably just be provided to everybody. Just because there's like no downside to having a healthy, educated population ever. And I went to school with a lot of like party people that did not take school seriously, and I still think they deserved an education. Okay. Just wish education was less shitty. Part of the problem with education is it's not very person-focused, if that makes sense. I went to high school, and it was very, like, it was very test-centric, which was kind of terrible, because all of the supplementary programs were awful. They weren't, like, they weren't staffed, or they were staffed by, like, people that literally didn't know. I taught the web design course for 2 years because the teacher himself had never learned web design. He was just teaching from a book and he didn't understand it because he started as a shorthand writing teacher. And like that freaking is such a stupid idea. But because he was a tenured teacher at my high school, they chose him over anybody else. And then when he retired and they hired a new person, the new person they hired had never done web design either. And I was so confused. I was like, you could have at least hired, like, anybody that had, like, even interacted with HTML before. And you hire this guy? And I have no idea if anything, like, came of him being a complete nincompoop. But, like, he would actively call me out of class to ask me for help. And I'm like, look, I'm graduating in a month. You really got to figure your shit out. And I probably should have actually maybe talked to the principal about that and been like, so your web design teacher literally does not know web design. Stop mugging this poor bastard. Never! Honestly, I'm probably going to put the game into sleep mode and keep mugging him off stream. And off camera. But, like, even in college, all of our program was largely focused around, most of our program was focused around the perspective of like our teachers teaching us exactly what they knew and not at all like kind of keying it into our needs. Me wanting to be a digital artist was completely ignored by like half my teachers. The only teacher that would actively the only teacher that actually like kind of facilitate my digital education was my digital teacher, and they only let me take his class twice. It was frustrating. Because ultimately, like, they could have done it way better, but they didn't bother because nobody actually cares about education half the time. The worst part about education is usually educators are the ones that either went straight from school to education, which at that point, they don't really even know that much, or they're like for college professors, it's usually people that couldn't make it in the industry. Every once in a while, you will actually get some like decent people there, but like, I had more than my fair share of teachers that literally could not get a job in whatever industry that they were teaching, and it's just like, you almost feel like you should be trying to like get the people that are really good. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Oh well. Sorry, it was me who told him to do this. No, it was not you. But yeah, I'm gonna have so much money after this if I want to. I'm bleeding this poor man dry. But yeah, it looks like this guy's just going to give infinite cash, as long as I'm patient enough for it. Which probably means this is a great stopping point. Because I can keep doing this tomorrow while I render videos and whatnot. School is good at that front. They try to provide an opportunity to explore more career paths. Your school is a bit more focused on engineering. That's a good thing. Honestly, I feel like specialized education starting earlier might be a good idea. Because, like, generalized education is so useless when half of your population doesn't even use, you know, advanced level English or math, history, science, or whatever. Like, if you've got some, like, really heavy science and math-oriented people, consider maybe pushing them further down that path instead of being like, well, we don't have shit for you. I guess you gotta wait for college. And it's like, no.
All right, Joker. Very smooth.
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, wait, no, he's still confused. Unfortunately, this is gonna take forever. Dropping generalized college shit would help. Yeah. God, I had to take so many useless college courses. And, I mean, they were kind of enriching, but I feel like I shouldn't have been required to take them. I feel like college is requiring you to take, like, writing courses is just kind of frustrating. Like, especially my writing courses were atrocious. I did not enjoy them in the slightest. Never understood the need for learning philosophy when your major is engineering. So part of it is, I actually did take a philosophy minor, which was fun. It was completely useless to me. Yeah, I did start a game design minor, but I didn't need to do that. That was mostly just for personal enrichment. But, honestly, a philosophy minor was more fun and kind of like personal enriching than engineering. But I never will understand requiring students to go through that kind of thing. Because that's just how you get a bunch of kids that don't care about whatever subject as opposed to people that, like, legitimately care. Freaking, I was in a, what was it? I was in a, I don't even remember the name of the course. But it was about arguing and debate and stuff like that. And like, kind of discussing the human condition from multiple perspectives. And it involved a lot of, like, in-class discussion, which was awesome. But unfortunately, you run into all sorts of people that... Ow. Okay, we might have to heal after this one. you run into a lot of people that have like really shitty reactions to like debate. Like I specifically had a classmate that that liked to use arguments specifically like, you don't know my life, therefore I'm right and you're wrong, and you can't rebut against it at all. And it's like the most frustrating thing ever. I don't know how many of you guys have ever like had to debate with anybody, but nothing is more annoying than like running across somebody that just rejects your point out of hand with either an ad hominem or a fallacy. Yeah, the classmate sounded dumb. Oh yeah, she was awful. And then she never showed back up to class again, which is probably for the best, but like, she spent the entire first class more or less arguing that her life was hard, and therefore she knew more about the human condition than anybody else. And it's like, maybe you have like a different perspective that could actually be right, but like, man, you just come off as a child when you do that sort of thing. Because, yeah, you can only really say that, like, I'm an expert in this when, like, you legitimately are kind of an expert in this. Like, I could probably say, in a debate between a bunch of people, I have some specific things that I could be like, yeah, I'm specifically, like, an expert in this. Like, YouTubing. I could probably sit down and tell people a lot about, like, how YouTubing works and be like, look, I know what I'm talking about, you don't. Please stop talking about what you're talking about. And I'd still come off as a jerk, but at least I kind of have the right to say that, as compared to the people that are constantly telling me to be more like Markiplier. And like, even then, generally your responsibility as the expert is to kind of present that information kindly, because if you reject a person completely, like, offhandedly, they're not going to listen to you ever again. And that's one of the, I'd say, bigger problems that we're running into as a society now, is that people don't actually listen to each other when there's, like, a dispute. It's just, I'm right, you're wrong, or you're from a group that I don't need to listen to your opinion from, and therefore this doesn't matter. And that just infuriates me to no end. But yeah, I don't think this guy's gonna run out of cash. He has a higher drop rate of items. But I could actually continue to do this infinitely if I felt like it. We should probably just stop, though. I've got a couple million, and there's gonna be another one later on that will have, more than enough money coming out of them. I don't know. I'll be able to get crazy money out of them, like 200k per, give or take. But honestly, like 40,000 is pretty nuts. Door to Hades. Let's see how much we're coming out of this with. Damn, that move does tons of damage. Why did it turn out like this? Okay, we get another 12,000. Har. Hard to win an argument against a smart person. Impossible to win an argument against an idiot. Yep. I hate it. I hate it when people look at me like I'm just a bug to them. I can do better. I'm a superior human being. All the people around me just don't get it. I don't know if I really fixed him. Phew. The right to beat his girlfriend. He really is the worst of the worst to think that. I mean, he changed his heart, so let's tell the fortune teller when we get the chance. Bam. Well, that takes care of that. What should we do now? Want to keep exploring? Let's go back to the entrance. I can warp down to the safe room. Let's see how much money I have. Oh man, 2.4 mil. That is a lot of money. That's great. That is so great. I am crazy rich now. That is beautiful. Alright. 2.4 mil. Wish I had that money. Yeah, me too.